Hey, what's up? This video is going to be breaking down the Nebraska versus Colorado game. First game of the season for Nebraska, second game of the season for Colorado. Just going to be kind of going over some of the highlights and game film here. I've got a little video made where I spliced together all the highlights from the game and kind of condensed it. So I'm going to go over that and kind of some things that stood out to me, good and bad. And then after that, I'll kind of go over the stats and really break down the whole game and kind of how it turned out. So yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty, so this play is the first of the Frost era. Was a pretty good one. Nice little run there for 5 or 6 yards. Martinez has the potential to be really good. Nice read. And finishes for the first down. That's the first turnover for Nebraska. Something like this is just mostly bad luck. I mean, he takes a helmet right to the ball and it squirts out, and Colorado's lucky enough to fall on it. So this was just a tough break for Nebraska here. If you see that, a helmet just goes right onto the ball. And that's bad luck because Nebraska was really rolling and going to be probably getting points in that drive. Another good play there by Martinez. Until he fumbled, of course. So just this one wasn't as much bad luck as the Bell fumble. I think this one could have been cleaned up. Yeah, that one definitely could have been prevented. That's a freshman mistake there by Martinez. That was a big play, 3rd and 17. Martinez throws a strike. Good pull, and he has to make that guy miss. The design of the play is if you're going to pull that, there's probably going to be somebody coming free, and you got to make him miss. So, boom, yep. And that's the kind of playmaker Martinez can be, and then he has enough speed to go ahead and finish it off and get in. So, great play there by a freshman QB. That was risky, that close to the goal line. And that's really good. If you see on this play, let me see if I can pull out my marker here. On this play, Nebraska is only going to rush 4, and they're able to get pressure on the QB. Look at that. They're rushing 4, and that's the sign of a good defense, is if you can get pressure with just your front lineman. In this case, it's 4, and they're able to get pressure on the QB, and they were doing this all day. So that is a really big positive sign for Nebraska. I mean, they had 3 guys right around the QB, and that was pretty quick. He didn't even have time to really make his reads. Another great play by Martinez. And this is a good run by Ezigbo here. Lots of power to get through that first surge, get into the end zone. I like this because it's a trick play, and we've got guys in position to make a play. This should have been picked off. That should have been picked off, but this is a really good play, and there's something I want to highlight here. DiCaprio Boodle drops that pick, and he knows it. He's instantly upset. But the next play, I'm going to highlight something positive he did, and I really like this kid, DiCaprio Boodle. He's a true sophomore, and you're going to know this guy's name by the end of the year. He is going to be a stud on this defense. Okay, so watch this play, and when when a play like this is happening, you need someone to come forward and set the edge, because you don't want the offense to be able to get out to the sideline. So you need someone to come in and forcefully set that contain point. And watch what happens here. Watch DiCaprio Boodle come up here and set this edge like a man on fire. I love this play. Boom, look at that. Sets the edge, he has to go inside, and then we come in and make the play. This DiCaprio Boodle kid is the real deal. Comes up, boom, sets that edge, and the guys fly in from the inside. Nice run by Ezigbo there. And this one, you know, the defense got sucked inside. Martinez makes the right read. Easy touchdown. This, if you want to know the sign of a good defense and a good defensive back, it's in previous years on Nebraska's defense, the defensive backs have just kind of kept their back to the quarterback and just kind of flailed their arms and hope they hit the ball. This is what needs to be happening. See how he's got his head around and he's going to make a play on the ball. He's not just covering his man. A good defense and a good defensive back is going to get their head turned to make a play on the ball. So that's what I wanted to point out about this. That's a great play. And this is Boodle. See how much better we're coached now? Look at it. Look at his head around so he can make a play on the ball. Our guys are finding the ball when it's in the air and making plays on the ball instead of just covering their man. And this is something I haven't seen in previous years. Now, there was a couple times where they didn't do this and they kind of broke down on their fundamentals a little bit. But a big positive sign to see our guys starting to do this and show the signs of a good secondary. And that's that DiCaprio Boodle kid again. That's just good pursuit and good coverage on the back end. Look at this throw by Martinez. Boom. I mean, that's like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I mean, you can't place this ball any better. Look at this throw. This is exciting if you're a Nebraska fan. That's big time right there. And again, if you notice, on this play, Nebraska's rushing four defensive linemen coming at the quarterback, and they're able to get there very quickly, and this is very encouraging. It's just guys winning their individual matchup and getting it done. Look at DiCaprio Boodle. This kid's awesome. Watch him come up and set the edge again. Watch him come flying right there. This is that same kid. He comes up, sets that edge for the defense to come flying in from the inside. Trust me, that's something our defense was not doing last year. We didn't have guys flying up and setting the edge like that. This was a great play call and great execution. Can't leave Martinez an angle like that. And I like the little juke, like kind of half slide. This is another perfect throw. Brutal for the receiver to let him down there. He put this ball where it needed to be. Right into the pocket of where the defense, and if you look, he's worried about getting hit. And, you know, it's tough because as a receiver, if you're coming over the middle of the field, those DBs can just light you up. So it's really hard to have the discipline to keep your head on the ball the whole time. And he takes his head off the ball just that split second too early because he's worried about who's coming from the center to hit him, and it cost him a drop on this play. But if he catches this ball, I think Nebraska wins this game. I think the momentum going into the fourth quarter, it's just brutal. If he catches that ball, Nebraska wins this game, in my opinion. So that was really rough. Another just brutal break for Nebraska. This is a great defensive stand. Guys flying to the ball, pushing him back. And it turned out, actually live watching the game, that this line was like off a little bit. Like when they actually measured it, the actual line to game was like closer to right here if you watched on TV. So it turned out he got the first down by like an inch or two, but just, you know, just one of those plays that didn't go Nebraska's way and really hurt, because Colorado ends up scoring on this drive, and that would have been the end of it. Or wait, I think Colorado didn't end up scoring on that drive. I think they ended up like missing a field goal maybe. And what was the last play? What was the play I missed after that? They must not have scored on that drive. Yeah, I want to talk about this a little bit. So on this 4th and 1, you know, 4th and 1 is actually not as common to get for the offense as you would think. The Colorado just absolutely sells out on the run, and I think it's an opportunity for us to get a little bit more creative. Like, we could have done like a play action rollout on this, and probably would have been somebody wide open. But it's tough to look at it in hindsight because Nebraska was averaging like 7 yards a rush in this game. So you've got to feel good about your chances to get 1 yard. But when they've got this many guys just selling out, I mean, pre-snap, they weren't even reading anything. Like, they were just selling out for the run. And it ended up paying off for him. Like, look at like, he hasn't even handed the ball off. And these linebackers are just flying into the backfield. And then it's just too many guys to get blocked, and 53 makes the play. This next play here, this play right here, now the tables are turned, and it's Colorado on 4th and 1. And this play right here is Colorado knowing that in the trenches, Nebraska's better than them. This is the coaching staff knowing they can't just line up and pound it. They got to get a little bit cute here. So that's a good sign for us, because the Colorado coaches know what we know, and that's that Nebraska is the better team in the trenches. So they try to get cute. They try to do something unexpected, which is, you know, a little pitch to the short side, because, you know, there's only 2 Nebraska defenders up here, and they think if he can make a guy miss, you know, maybe fall forward for the first down. But Nebraska's pursuit and discipline shines through, and they make a big play here. Like, number 5 played this great, and what he does is, this lineman is supposed to be able to get the seal here, but he reads this soon enough to come over and get away from that block. And what that does is that just makes the play dead. So great play there. And this was just, I would say this play was one of only 1 or 2 that Martinez looked like a true freshman. He really gets baited here by 53, and I think Scott said in his post-game interview, this ball wasn't supposed to go here. He's supposed to read this and go to the right. But, you know, you're going to expect a couple of these this year. This was the first play of a drive. Can't have this in your own territory. This is just an ill-advised throw. He kind of stares down the receiver. He was looking there the whole time. This is just pitch and catch for an interception. That's as easy as it gets for a defender. So that was really the only, like, glaring true freshman mistake for Martinez. And this was Martinez's last play. That's the play he got kind of rolled up on and kind of hurt. That was the play there. Just kind of watching it live and watching him on the sidelines and stuff, I don't think it's going to be something super serious. I think he's probably 50-50 to play against Troy, and then should be ready for conference action. If I had to speculate and guess, obviously I could be wrong, and it could be something where he misses some significant time, but I think it's going to be something he misses a max of 1 game from, if I had to guess. So now we've got the backup bunch in, and this is actually a good read, good recognition. He sees the pass rush, gets an open lane, and throws a strike, and this is one of those just crucial drops. I mean, that's just brutal. And this is another brutal one. If we see this play, this is like 10 yards short of the first down. So it's going to be Nebraska's ball. All we have to do is not do something stupid. That's all we have to do. And he comes up, you know, does a targeting, like right to the head. You know, that's an easy call. You just can't do that. They're properly trying to get this stuff out of the game. You can't go helmet to helmet at the head to somebody who's defenseless. That's an easy flag, and we just can't have that. I mean, this was another just crucial play that went Colorado's way and that Nebraska messed up. This was just a great play. I don't think this was particularly bad defense. That was just a great play by Colorado. And, you know, this is DiCaprio Boodle again. And now you see this is what I was talking about. He didn't get his head turned this time. He was our secondary was doing a better job of it, getting their head turned. And this is what we kind of used to see from our DBs is they would never turn their head. And this was kind of a coachable moment here, but he may not have been in a good enough position to make a play on the ball, which is why he was just keeping his head forward and trying to make up ground. But that's just a great throw and a great catch, and Colorado made a play there. This was the 2-point conversion after that touchdown. They kind of tried to do something similar as they scored a touchdown on a look like this. So what they're going to do is kind of try to like set up kind of a wall for defenders so that nobody can get over here. And then they're going to peel somebody out to catch a pass and run in. And Colorado scored on a play similar to this. So you'll see him coming in motion. And then you see they're going to try to, but this is encouraging because Nebraska learned from this. What they're going to do is kind of try to set up a screen, and then he's going to come out, catch the ball here, and turn up field where his man can't get out here. But Nebraska learned from that play earlier in the game, and they make a good play here and stuff him on the 2-point conversion. But that's why Colorado went back to this, is because this same look worked earlier in the game. But we get through and pummel him. And this was the last play of the game here. Bunch has to throw this inbounds. You know, you're in a kind of a Hail Mary situation. You have to at least give your guys a chance to have a tip ball or something. We got to at least get this ball inbounds. There was just no chance there. But, yeah, that was kind of the highlights. And now I'm going to pull up the stats and kind of give some overall reaction to the game. Okay, so this is kind of the stat page here. In my previous video when I was previewing Nebraska versus Colorado, I said by the research I did, Nebraska should be favored by 8.5. And they were only favored by 4.5, so I said the proper bet was Nebraska. And I still stand by that. I think Nebraska should have won this game by 10 to 14 points, somewhere in there. I do still think the proper bet was Nebraska, but they just shot themselves in the foot too many times, losing the turnover battle 0-3. I think they had twice as many penalty yards as Colorado. The fumbles, the interceptions, the drops, the turnover margin. Like, if they play this game again, it's not going to go like that. Nebraska was the better team. They should have won this game by like 10 points, but they really only have themselves to blame. The encouraging thing is there's a lot of positives and there's a lot of things that could be cleaned up with time. And I think it's really encouraging that the trenches are vastly improved from last year. The offensive and defensive lines are night and day compared to last year. The offensive line actually had a pocket, and when we were throwing, like Adrian Martinez was 15 for 20. That should have been 16 for 20 if Morgan doesn't drop that ball in the end zone. This would have been 16 for 20 for like 230 and a QBR of pretty close to 70. So Adrian Martinez played great in the passing game, and the offensive line was doing a pretty good job protecting him. Now, as far as the defensive line, I mean, look at this. Colorado rushing 35 carries for 1.3 yards. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is lights out by the defensive line. So great performance there in the running game. Normally, if you compare the rushing stats and one team averages 6.1 and one team averages 1.3, the 6.1 team is almost always going to win. So that is encouraging for Nebraska fans. And also Adrian Martinez's efficiency in the passing game, a 9.4 average that would have easily been over 10 if Morgan just catches that ball. It was right in the breadbasket. And then on the defensive side, a 7.0 average. That's not terrible for the defense to allow. That's decent. Anything else to kind of cover here? I think that's like the main gist of the stats. I was kind of surprised that Maurice Washington only ended up with 8 carries because they were really kind of featuring him early. So it looks like they're really going to keep this even between between these 3 running backs. Bell, Ozigbo, and Washington seem to be kind of going to have an even workload. And then they want Martinez to rush the ball 10 to 15 times a game. I think that's going to be something kind of common in this offense. So a pretty even split there amongst the top 3. Bell got a couple more carries than I thought he would. I thought he would only get about 7 or 8 carries. He ended up with 13. Bell didn't look as fast as I thought he would be, but he was definitely really elusive, and he ran with more power than I thought he would. I just expected him to have a little bit more burst. There was a couple times where he broke into the open field and got caught immediately. So it looks like Washington's going to be our speed guy, and Ozigbo and Bell are going to be kind of your in-between the tackles, grind out yards kind of guys. So, yeah, all in all, you got to be excited for where we're at in Game 1 of the Frost era. Obviously, it's disappointing we didn't win. But when you actually take a look at the highlights, take a look at the stats, they are heading in the right direction, and it's a game that Nebraska should have won, and they lost because of mistakes that are easily correctable. So I have faith that Scott Frost and this coaching staff will get most of this stuff cleaned up, and Nebraska is still a team that I would expect to be able to jump up towards Bill eligibility and play some really solid games in the Big Ten. So, yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.